So I was messing about with pens a couple of days ago. I mean, I don't know, man. There's another world that exists outside of watches that's to do with pens, and I don't know, maybe something I want to be, tapping into as well. I'm looking for my first writing instrument. Something we can discuss a bit later. Just realized that I got the headset on. Let me just remove that. So today I'm going to talk to you about a brand that makes very well constructed watches, finest of the finest, right? The creme de la creme, the top of it. Full creativity and horological advancement. I mean, when you talk about tilted tourbillons, I mean, who else would do stuff like that, right? So Ulysse Nardin, of course, their vertical differentials, that's one thing. But when you talk about Greubel Forsey, that's really, really next level. The level of craftsmanship, the quality, and the complication. Really, really, really complex watches. But for some reason, I don't think I'd ever want to wear a watch from that brand. And here's my reasons. So if I want to dot the history line and make a massive jump from 1999, Robert Greubel and Stefan Forsey had come together. They basically said, let's have this combat approach, this combat development to put out the first reinterpretation for what a tourbillon should look like, how it should be positioned and the timekeeping aspect of it. It was the first fundamental innovation by Greubel Forsey that was introduced at Baselworld in 2004. The double tourbillon 30 degrees technique blue ceramic, it's a very long name, is limited to 11 pieces, not Omega type of limited edition, but this one is genuinely limited to 11 pieces and comes in a blue ceramic case. And for such innovation, of course, you can understand, you can reason why the case would be big, right? It's to house all this amazing stuff that goes inside the tilted tourbillon, the vertical differentials, all this stuff, right? That we don't really know what it means. We just know it's spot on. I understand that. I am personally and aesthetically speaking not a big fan of big cases, but when it comes to this level of innovation, of course, you would anticipate the case would be a little bit bigger to house all this amazing stuff that goes inside, the vertical differentials, the tilted tourbillon, etc. Not my cup of cake personally. You know, I like ultra thin cases that sits and hugs your wrist type of thing. This one we're talking about specifically is a 48.4. So it's not for me, but it makes sense why it's that big, right? So it's substantial and it actually wears true to size. So 120 power hour reserve and a 30 meter water resistance of the depth you can go to is 30 meter, but it's irrelevant when you're talking about a tourbillon, let alone a tilted one. Like, you're not gonna wash your hands even with this watch on. Let's just face it. Open worked, of course, with sapphire bridges that comes on a rubber strap. I don't know if the rubber strap is design language to Greubel Forsey, just like Richard Mille. So again, I don't take rubber straps as a definition to a collection in a watch brand, because again, every other brand could literally be playing with rubber straps and call it a sport watch or a hybrid between both sport and classic. So let's not dot that for them, because again, if that's the case, then the AP's offshores, the Richard Milles and their various model lines, of course, they're all on rubber straps. Right next to it, I had the chance to look at the Greubel Forsey double Balenciaga in sapphire, which really made a mark when it first came out. This one is 4 mm thinner than the double tourbillon. You get a brilliant blue dial that is mirror polished, but it's actually not just blue, it's gold, and it's been chemically treated to blue it out to make it look like that. And it's quite interesting because it gives you different hues of blue depending on which angle you have the light pointed on. And through a small portion opening, you can see the impressive, amazing movement. If I would have done this right, I would have just kept it completely open. I think it's a shame not to look at this impressive movement that they have inside. So Greubel Forsey does not generally produce a lot of watches per year. So we're talking about 11 pieces for each one of these watches we're looking at today. That's the double tourbillon as well as the double Balenciaga in sapphire. And the idea is that sandwich between 2023 and 2025, they would even add 18 additional pieces, right? Which is all fantastic. So you basically get a complication, high-end finish on a limited numbered watch. So what is the problem really? Why is it that I wouldn't want to wear a watch like that? And the answer is really twofold, right? So this is my first reasoning. Number one is the barrier to entry to the brand from a price point. I mean, either of these pieces we're talking about are a hair under $700,000. That is really an absurd premium. It's like, get a house or get one of these watches. That's really what it comes down to. And I think that's a big problem as well. Of course, the craftsmanship, design, and quality is unquestionable when you think about or you speak of Greubel Forsey, right? That's what you attribute this name to. Is supreme quality, extreme complication. That's what they do, and they do it best. And the problem is not just only the retail price point, it's the fact that, let's say that Greubel Forsey's plan right now is to go after the amazing, smart, intelligent collector that is from the 1% of the world that can actually afford these type of watches, right? let's just say this won't happen, but let's just throw it out there. Say one of these amazing collectors would come to a point where, you know what, I want to change this watch. I don't want it. Maybe I want to change it to something else. Guess what? Greubel Forsey doesn't even have a buyback program. And I think when a watch exceeds a certain price, it is almost critical that a brand should have some sort of buyback program, right? I think all brands should do that for watches that exceed a certain price. And the alternative is also not good, right? So you'd go to a secondary aftermarket dealer, say, hey, I've got the $700,000 Greubel Forsey that I would like to sell. Are you interested? And you would be hard pressed. You would be lucky if you find one that would buy it and then again buys it for 20% of what that retail that you had paid. So it's a lose-lose situation type of thing. I mean, it's a supply and demand game, and at the moment there is no demand for it. There are people that would appreciate it. Look, tastes change, everything in life changes. You want to make sure against this type of money you can offer at least this buyback program. I think it would be interesting to do it this way. I mean, we're talking about a 60 to 70% instantaneous price drop from the retail price point that was paid, the $700,000 marker. That is crazy. That is a shame also when you talk about the level of innovation, the level of craftsmanship that is inside these watches. The second reason, we're talking about a tilted double tourbillon system on a 3-dimensional blue ceramic case with handcrafted bridges and all this amazing stuff that does not evoke emotions for me at all. I mean, I was just looking at this thing and I was looking at it and I was looking at it for the longest time and I said, this is amazing. This is beautiful. This is really, really nice. It doesn't make me feel any type of way. I don't know if this is just me. I mean, I'm not bashing Greubel Forsey. I think Greubel Forsey is an amazing brand, right? It's the best of the best. But for me to be a customer, you want to slim down everything, including the price tag. You want to maybe reduce that case to 10 to 12 thickness. Get rid of that tourbillon. I think tourbillons are pointless. What are tourbillons? Like, what do you really use that for? It's already accurate as it is. That is the best mechanical accuracy you can get from a mechanical watch. Get rid of everything else. Just skeletonize it. And maybe that's the entry point. And maybe you have a price tag that attributes entry point. And maybe then I'm a customer. Or maybe I'm just the only one that feels that way. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.